One of the most fun things you can do when you're playing a cleric is to prepare your spells for the day. Sometimes you choose Bless, sometimes you choose Bane, and can't have both active because they both require your concentration. So this is actually a pretty important decision. So today, the question we're going to tackle is to buff or debuff. How's it going, everybody? I'm Jake from JNJtabletop, and today we're going to be talking about Bless versus Bane. Now, these are two first level cleric spells, and they both have the potential to really impact a fight, and we're going to be looking at a few things as to why you might favor one over the other in different situations. But first, let's go over some similarities. Both of these spells are level 1 cleric spells from the School of Enchantment. Now, they also both require your concentration, so like we said in the beginning, you can't do both of these at the same time. The other similarity that they have in common is that they both target 3 creatures within 30 feet of you. Now, when it comes to Bless, anybody that's affected by a Bless spell gets to add a d4 to their attack rolls and saving throws as long as the spell is active. This can have tremendous benefits and a huge impact on how well your party performs during combat. Because you're adding that d4 to every attack roll that a Blessed party member makes, you're going to be turning some misses into hits. And if you take this just one step further, if you have someone in your group like a barbarian fighter or paladin that's using something like Great Weapon Master or someone that uses the sharpshooter feat, they have to subtract 5 in order to access that plus 10 damage that they deal. So if someone's blessed, they're going to be much more likely to take that risk because they know that they can make up the difference a little bit with that bonus that you're giving them. And that actually improves the damage output of the entire party because you chose to do Bless. It might not show up in the stat sheet, as they say, but this can really impact how effective your group is in combat. The other part about Bless that sometimes gets lost in the mix is just how valuable adding a d4 to your saving throws can be. It's often a good idea to include yourself in this because you have to concentrate on it, and if you take damage, you have to make a constitution saving throw, and if you're blessed, you add a d4 to that. And as you might be able to put together, this is something that you can actually just apply to any situation that you perceive saving throws are coming your way. You know, you're going up against, say, something like a Banshee where they can just drop you to 0 hit points right away. Or you're going up against a spellcaster that was doing things like Charm Person or Hold Person. The ability to have Bless is going to make your party succeed on so many things, and that is invaluable and is a great way to make sure that your party is constantly ready to perform at its best. Perhaps the most notable thing, and the thing that, in my opinion, separates Bless from Bane, is that it always works. Your party is never going to say, no, I don't think I want that blessing. I think this is something that I should try and do on my own. No, that's not the way that works. And your party is going to just go, the extra d4 on attack rolls and saves. Yes, please. So when it comes to that buff versus debuff, what you should do, one huge benefit to buffing your party is that you never have to have an enemy fail a saving throw, and it will always be there. It's one of the most reliable ways you can make your team better. Now, when it comes to Bane, it's actually very similar to Bless, it just does the opposite. So instead of adding a d4 to your attack rolls and your saving throws, you subtract a d4 from anybody that fails the saving throw and they're affected by Bane. So Bane has the potential to protect your party from taking damage and could potentially just keep them alive much longer than Bless does. It also has the potential to put spellcasters in a position to succeed. So just like we mentioned, if you know you're going up against spellcasters, you would want to bless your party. Well, if you have spellcasters in your party, you want to put Bane on their targets of their spells because it's going to mean that their spells are going to succeed more often. This also has the potential to affect the damage output of your party because if enemy targets are failing spell saving throws that deal damage, well, they're going to take twice as much as they would if they succeed. Typically speaking, of course. So if you need someone to fail a saving throw for maybe your wizard's going to cast Disintegrate on them, oh, the target got Bane on it. That's a really good way to make sure it succeeds. The thing here about Bane, though, and what separates it from Bless, is that the target of Bane has the potential to overcome it or not be affected by it at all if they succeed on a charisma saving throw. Charisma is one of those things that isn't necessarily as obvious as to when you think an opponent might be weak to it, It's not like an ogre when you look at that and you go, well, there's a good chance if I have to make a dexterity saving throw, it'll probably succeed. It's a little different. It's usually like a strength of will, and I feel like you look at some monster stat blocks and you see it kind of sometimes doesn't seem to make sense to me. However, if they do fail that saving throw, they don't get the chance to repeat it time and time again. So this is a save or suck spell. However, if the target fails, you're kind of locked in as long as you're still concentrating on the spell. So if we're going to look at Bless versus Bane and trying to decide which is the best option for your group, like in life and in almost everything Dungeons and Dragons, the answer is, well, it depends. It depends on what you're trying to do, the situations you're facing, your party composition, what your party tends to be good at versus what they're not good at. But I think as a general rule, it's never bad to bless your team because it always works. It also is never bad to debuff your opponents, but the difference here is that they have a chance to succeed on the saving throw. Both of these spells have a tremendous ability in order to impact combat from the beginning of your adventuring career all the way through towards tiers 3 and 4, really, if you're thinking about it. There are some other options that might be more worth your concentration, but using Bane or Bless in a combat encounter is never a bad idea. So that's Bless versus Bane. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and head down to the comment section and tell us about it. Also, let us know if you feel like I missed something. Maybe you have something else that you consider when you decide between Bless and Bane, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too. Also, you should subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so that you're always aware when we release a video. Josh and I love to help people not only with practical videos like this, but we like to help dungeon masters and players come up with concepts for their characters, their campaigns, and just general approach to D&D in general. So again, I'm Jake from JNJtabletop. Take care.